Hi everyone and welcome back to your weekly installment of the Top 10. These are the hottest selling cards in Magic the Gathering this week, May 31st to June 7th of 2025. We've got cards showing up in Modern, in Standard, in Commander. Everything's gonna blow your mind. Final Fantasy has arrived. Hey guys, welcome back. MTG Moxman here, your host for the Top 10. These are the hottest selling cards. That's why we're all here today, to figure out what's going on in the world of Magic the Gathering and what's the best selling cards. Now, if you're shopping for any of these cards, don't forget to use my TCG Player affiliate link. It's found in the description of the video. Now let's dive right in to the number 10 card this week, and it's insanity and it's everywhere. Urza Saga Modern Horizons 2. That's right, boys and girls. This land has come on to the top 10 and it's sold a lot of copies. 3,102 copies. That's $155,000 of total sales action. So first off, Urza Saga, just so you know, it's a card I predicted would go to $5. You guys remember that video where I said, this isn't going to be that good. I don't think players are going to utilize it. Well, a lot has shifted and a lot has changed in that day. I was proving wrong a couple of years ago when this all went down, and it just shows that, sometimes you just can't get it right. So let's take a look at this card. Now, as this saga enters, and after your draw step, you add a lore counter. Sacrifice after 3. First off, this thing's a land that taps for colors. Then we get the whole artifact creature thing, +1/+1, and then you get to search your library for an artifact card with mana cost 0 or 1 and put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. You know there's so many crazy things you can do with this. It's insane, and it sold so many copies. Now, the number 9 card is Urza's Cave, Modern Horizons 3. Now, this card, remember I used to pre-order for like 10, 12 bucks? People were buying this thing left, right, and center. This thing has shifted down so much in value. It's barely above $2, but that has not stopped this uncommon from finding homes in multiple decks, and that's because of what it can do. Now, of course, the monthly change on a card like this, it's still losing value, but that hasn't deterred people from buying hundreds of copies in a given week, and this week, thousands of copies moved on the market. So Urza's Cave, let's not forget, this is a land card. It is an uncommon, okay? It's not even legendary. Sacrifice Urza's Cave, search your library for a land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Of course, you can use this at the end of a turn. There's crazy stuff that can happen. But why are so many copies leaving the market right now? What is happening? Well, this is something we have to talk about here at the end of the video. Urza's Cave, man. Crazy. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our number 8 card this week. It is Mistrise Village. This card has fallen down to $6.76 per copy. It still locks in the number 8 spot with 4,812 sales, or $32,529.12 of sales action. This card, as the price has shifted, continues to see sales increase on the card, and there is now some noted pressure on the actual supply of the card. It looks like speculators are cornering the market, tying up thousands of copies and locking things down. It looks like they are anticipating a usage for this card further into Commander, as well as possibly Standard. Now, if you don't own copies of this card, we've been talking about it since its release, so really it's on you guys. It's a really cheap card. If you wanted it, you would have bought it by now. Just like Urza's Cave, you would have already owned at least 4 copies when it got this cheap, and if you haven't, well, then you don't need the card and you don't care about it. So this is your number 8 card. It's amazing, and yeah, I wonder what's going to happen in the long run with a card like this that can stop spells from being countered. Let's go ahead and take a look at Fire Magic Universes Beyond Final Fantasy. That's right, Final Fantasy is finding its way in here on a pre-release week. This thing had 4,896 sales. That's only $2,399 of sales action, but that's still almost 5,000 copies on pre-order leaving the market. What's happening with Fire and Magic? What's happening with this card? Now, forget the pre-orders at like $4 or $5. Nobody's buying it. We got closer and closer. The price kept falling, and everyone's kind of said, okay, this is less than $1. I'm going to buy some copies. But there's a lot of copies being sold and bought right now. Now, Fire Magic. I love the image, by the way. It reminds me of Orko. Doesn't it remember He-Man? 1 red with tiered. Fire for 0, deals 1 damage to each creature. Great little tiny nuke, right? Vera, you got 2. Fire Magic deals 2 damage, and then Figaro, which is 5, and Fire Magic deals 3 damage. Imagine with that triple effect card, where you can like triple things over. You can have some real fun with this stuff, man. Great card, great stuff going on. I can see why people are buying it, right? It makes sense. Now, for our next card, this is Warden of the Grove, okay? This is Tarkir Dragonstorm. It's $1.51. It's a Hydra, and it is something to talk about. 5,247 sales, $7,922.97 of sales action for this card, and yet I have not seen this played at a live action game that I've been in yet. I've seen it on Arena, but I haven't seen this at a local LGS level in competition matches yet. So it's something to think about. The card is actually shifting up slightly in value. Makes you wonder what's going on and if there's going to be a big movement on this card. So this thing's the 3 casting cost. 1 green and 2 other for Warden of the Grove. At the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Whenever a non-token creature you control enters, it endures, where X is the number of counters on this creature. Put X1/X1 counters on the creature that entered an XX White Spirit token. Kind of insane, guys. This thing could be something. Don't underestimate cards like this just because they're cheap. Somebody's buying a lot of copies. Now, our next one is Black Mage's Rod, okay? Now, this is 38 cents. This is not a high price target. It hits the number 5 spot with 5,621 sales, or $2,135.98 of sales action here in the market. Now, players are obviously buying the card they're after, but why are we going after the card? What's been going on? And why is the price still trending down if players are buying the card? Well, let's not forget this is a pre-order week. Even the fact that any of these cards are on my list right now blows my mind, because it lets me know how many sales are going to be there next week. Now, for 1 black and 1 other, we've got an artifact equipment with job select. When it enters, create a 1/1 colorless hero token and attach it to it. Equipped creature gets +1/+0, has whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent, and it is a wizard in addition to other types. There's something going on with those wizards. Remember those ones that create the little wizards that do damage and stuff? We got some crazy stuff going on. Equip 3, that's not bad. We got some stuff going on with this one. Now, our next card is Summon Titan. I was surprised to see this on the list of all the cards that could have been here. It locks in the number 4 spot this week, and it's something we got to look at closely because somebody's buying a lot of copies. 6,524 sales, $3,914.40. A little bit off on an angle here. Now, when we're looking at the card at 60 cents, this thing came in at pre-order at 15 bucks. What happened? Well, it's been falling ever since. Okay, obviously for a 5 casting cost Saga card, this isn't going to lock down any friends because games in Standard could be over before you can ever play the card. Always remember that. Depends on what you're playing against. Now, 5 casting cost. The first one's mill 5 cards. The second is return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. That can be useful. And until end of turn, another creature you control gets trample and gets +X/+X, whereas the number of lands you control. As a mid-game, if you can last long enough to get this thing out there and it's a 7/7, with Reach and Trample, it's really not a bad card to start out with, and it may have some positive effects later on. And there's something about this whole land creation and landfall thing we've been seeing right now with Tifa and stuff that you guys got to pay attention to stuff because somebody's building some crazy decks right now. Now, our next card is the Cori-Steel Cutter. It takes number 3 with 6,591 sales. That's $72,000. This thing should be calming down, and it's not. Okay, I'm serious, guys. The sales should not be this high at this point in the life cycle of where we've seen traditionally in the market space, which lets me know that as the price is falling, players are still paying attention to the card, and we have players stabbing at the card at lower prices. They're happy to buy 4 copies when they can save, 20 bucks on the deal. So it's a big deal to see this card having this much action and this much gameplay, and it makes you wonder where it's going to end up later on, because I'm seeing this a lot right now in standard gameplay as well as on Arena. So Friday night, I'm seeing it. Saturday, I'm seeing it. Sunday, I'm seeing it. And then, of course, I'm also seeing it on Arena. So I'm getting to be very friendly with this card and all the monks it creates. A great card, a great combination of cards. And no, I'm not using it in my deck. It's not my typical kind of thing I like to use, but it's still a very effective card. Do not underestimate. Now, when we're going into our next card here, we are going to take a look at Warden Soultrader. Guys, this is a Modern Horizons 3 card. I have no idea what's going on. 6,732 sales, $69,000+ of sales action with this card. Okay, some massive movements on this card happen on Wednesday all the way through to Saturday here, okay? Now, when we're looking at the overall change, it did go up $1.80 this month, okay? This is very early in the month. This is June. We're at the very beginning, and we're already seeing a shift in the price. So you know a card like this is obviously having a much greater impact than we realize, and there's a lot of players showing a sudden interest and having transactions and owning copies of this card now before things change. So why are they buying it? What's going on? Let's look at this card. Now, when we're looking, we are going to see a 1 black, 2 other, which means it's a 3 casting cost in total. And this thing is, of course, a Goblin Zombie Wizard. Pay 1 life, sacrifice another creature, create a treasure token. It's an artifact that lets you sacrifice it to, of course, get 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Can you see where the pay 1 life thing is going to take effect on people and how it's going to mess them up? Can you see the combinations forming in people's minds for Modern? I can. It's scary. Not to mention this thing will also work inside of Commander. Whew, we got some action going on, people. Okay, let's get to the next card. Here we have Barbara White, Universes Beyond Doctor Who, taking the #1 spot with 8,620 sales, or $21,808.60. Now, the Surge foil and the extended art, it was already climbing in price, but now we see the regular version really starting to climb. You can see the monthly change is $2.25, and as soon as people caught my video the other day and it started hitting the wire that this was a really popular thing to do right now with the Saga cards, yeah, you can see where this has gone. People are speculating massively on returns on this card. So Barbara White is a 1 white, 1 other human advisor legendary creature with history teacher. Sagas you control enter. Read ahead, you get to choose which chapter you're going to put them on, but the previous ones don't trigger. And Doctor's Companion. You can have 2 commanders if the other is a doctor. It's a pretty awesome card, guys. A pretty great market space, and I can't believe how much Final Fantasy we're seeing out there. It has arrived, and it is huge. I'm not sure where I began counting. There was just so many sales to look at and so many cards that as I really started getting involved in this week's count, I'll be honest, there is a good chance that I have missed out on a lot of other Final Fantasy sales as well as other cards related to this set. Other cards that have been very popular in their sales. The numbers were just so incredibly high that I had to choose which I believe to be the highest sales this week. I don't normally have this much of a transactional issue with the amount of sales, but the pre-order sales mixing with regular sales are just insane. There is so many things going on right now in the market space. It is very hard to cover in a single day or even a week of trying to catch up to the counts of cards. So I apologize if I've missed anything, but this will give you a good indicator today on just how powerful of an impact Final Fantasy has had in the market space for singles. And I can't wait to do next week's video because I'm sure as a pre-release and pre-ordering everything coming down the pipeline, it's going to be tenfold next week for the most part. I mean, I don't know about you guys. Right now, it is insane to think about where some of the values of the cards are going to go and what's going to end up. How many of these cards are going to rebound? How many of these cards are going to come back and come back big with major changes later on? This is what we are looking forward to finding out. And of course, the excitement is you don't have to buy these cards. You can sit on the sideline, view this from afar, and just enjoy the mayhem that is unfolding before you. Because these kinds of sales markets are going to have a lot of topsy-turvy whitecaps going on with a big storm. And it's just going to be keep rolling over until things settle down. We get down to some decent pricing and we find out where the market really finds the value in these cards. Now, the other things to note here into the video is Bloomburrow. Okay, the flood color card, it again had thousands of sales, just didn't make the list. Patchwork Banner continues to see mega sales. Caretaker's Talent, big stuff going on, guys. We have a lot of sales. Artisan's Talent too. These are Bloomburrow cards that didn't make the cut, but they were all in the thousands of sales. Thousands. And that is insane to think about, to see how much of a market thing we have going right now and how the players are enjoying and indulging in buying so many cards. Makes it hard for me, but it shows how much fun everyone's having out there. It's epic. Now, at this point in the video, I've already done my pre-release, and I'll be honest, we had a great time. I will talk about it on the live stream on Sunday. I will save that. But I want to know how your pre-release was. How much fun did you have? And did you pick up any singles? Are you buying any cards? Or did you find any cool combinations when you were at your pre-release having a good time? I hope you guys take a few moments to share that with me. Drop some comments down. Thanks again to everyone for supporting the channel, tuning in every day. If you enjoyed today's content, don't forget, I'm going to say this a million times more, like and subscribe to the channel. Turn on your notification bell because I'm here every single day of the week. Just for you guys, just for me. Hang out and have a good conversation. A reminder, tomorrow is the Reserve List Top 10, hottest selling cards on the Reserve List, and the live stream will be 6:30 Eastern Standard Time, where I will probably be exhausted from cleaning my backyard. But I will be here. I may be dirty and grubby, but I'll be here for you. Guys, have a great one. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you guys later. A big shout out and thank you, because last night, because of these patrons, I stayed up all night trying to get the most accurate card counts I could find for you guys online. It's because of the patrons and YouTube membership members that this is made possible. So I want to make sure everyone understands that yes, it's awesome we're all here. It's awesome that the channel's doing well. Everything's really awesome. I'm saying awesome a lot. That's okay. It's the end credits. Everyone gets it. If you're a YouTube membership member, if you're one of my patrons, thanks again for supporting my channel. I will be here tomorrow. Have a great one. Welcome back to the Ramble Jamble. No, I don't have water, don't have drinks, don't have anything. It's a late night. Got back from my my pre-release. There are really good players out there. That's all I'm going to say. Really good players. And some angry people too. We'll get to that on the Sunday live stream. Now, here at the end, I want to make something clear. The counts were insane. It was too high. There was no way to get a real nugget on everything. So these were the highest ones I could get to before I just had to call it quits and go to bed. So this is one of those unusual ones. And I'd like to admit to people and like give them full disclosure that I may have messed things up. Okay? I'm not editing this. You know, it's the Ramble Jam, but we don't edit. I don't care about work right now. I do care about work if you're watching. I just can't talk about it right now. I'm off the clock. It's insane to think that we had this high of numbers. And I like to give that full disclosure saying I could have messed up. There's just too many. But I'm pretty sure that the Doctor is number one. Like that one, nothing really was getting that close from all the other cards I counted, unless there was some crazy common somewhere that I missed out on. Anyway, insanity. Just the sheer number of cards selling. And on a side note, reserve list cards selling. We'll see it in the next video, but there were some random cards that started showing up, and it's very interesting to see some of these cards make the cut. And for those of you watching, and you're here at the end, Urza's lands selling. I'm talking antiquities and stuff. Not reserve list, but selling lots of copies. Everything from damaged to near mint. We'll talk about it, but it's just weird. Anyway, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. But you deserve the ugly truth. Do you remember that movie? I liked it. I did. I don't know. I'm tired. Bye. Have a great one. Ramble Jamble. Ramble Jamble. Ramble Jamble.